Welcome back to another episode of Houston's Hustle Hobbies. This is a show where I talk about the interesting ways where I make and save money in general, because that's what I do. Hustling's my hobby. So you can turn your car into an asset if you make it work for you. A lot of these channels talk about, like, your car's not an asset, it's a liability. It is an asset if you do it right. Now, as you know, my story goes like this. I bought a 2017 Dodge Grand Caravan last year for $24,000. There's a longer story behind that, but I'll just keep it simple for this video. So I bought that car for $24,000. I Ubered it, I lifted it, I hauled junk in it, I was a handyman, I hauled furniture for people in it. I did everything that I could to pay this car off as fast as possible. Now, what will be 8 months in time elapsed, this car will be completely paid off, all $24,000. So what did I do with that extra money? I went and bought this car, a 1999 Toyota Camry, with 120,000 miles on it. I put a belt on it, I put some brakes on it. It's fine, it runs like a clock. And I put about almost 10,000 miles on it in 2 months because of my job. Anyway, so that's, in that 1 minute and 23 seconds is how you turn your asset, your liability that is a car that depreciates, into an asset. Now, there's a lot of little lower level stuff that I didn't mention. I'm going to get into a little bit of the nitty gritty here. When you do something like this, the project is buy a car that's over 3 years old, because most of the depreciation has happened already. So in my case, a Dodge Grand Caravan, I had the top level trim, which is the SXT. That was like $29,000, $28,000. The truth is, I actually bought it in 2018 for $17,000, but I refinanced, did a cash out refinance on the car, got a better interest rate from a credit union, and used that to use that extra money that I got from the car to pay for some stuff around the house. Namely, I bought a refrigerator and I took the family out or did some stuff like that. So paid that off in the 8 months, like I said. So at the end of that depreciation curve is really important. And another thing that you want to do, buy a car at the end of its model year cycle. The Dodge Grand Caravan has been the exact same for about 11 years now. They came out with the current body style that it's in right now in like 2008. So that's another thing. So there's not a lot of rattles. There's not a lot of things that can go wrong because it's been in production for so long. So the kinks have been ironed out. So what I mean by this is, like, right now, if you go, like, say, buy like a Hyundai Kona, they came out like last year, I think. It's in its first or second model year, first generation model year. There might be some problems with it. I'm not picking on Hyundai Kona, but you get what I'm saying. So you want to buy something basic. When I say basic, I mean we're talking about Toyota Sienna, we're talking about Honda Odyssey, Honda CR-V. By the way, that's another thing you need to do. Buy a car, look up. What I did is I looked up the cheapest cars to insure in America. It's very important. Found it, I think from what I remember from 2 years ago. Number 1 is a Honda CR-V. Number 2 is a Honda Odyssey. Number 3 is a Dodge Grand Caravan. Number 3 is local. I'm American. I'm a Marine. So I went with that, and I'm a Dodge guy. I've always been a Dodge guy. So I went with that. So my insurance was dirt cheap for liability only for my Dodge Grand Caravan and my wife's 2013 Hyundai Sonata. I only pay for 6 months of coverage. I paid $390. That pares down, if you divide that by 6, holy crap, that's in the 80s. It's something like 80 something dollars a month for 2 cars. You can't beat that. So this is the way that you turn your liability of a car into an asset. You have to do your research, do your due diligence, be really decent with picking your cars out, and hopefully you can do the same thing. Just as a quick side note, the guy I follow on YouTube, Graham Stephan, he actually did this, but on a greater scale. What he did, because he's a single guy, he bought a 2008 Lotus Exige for $30,000 in 2012, which was at the bottom of his depreciation curve, over 4 years old, and since it's a Lotus Exige and all he did was just keep up with the car, he sold it 4 years later after he was done with it for almost $30,000. So essentially, he paid $2,000 for a Lotus Exige. So you can, if you do it on a higher level, you can do it with something like that. If I were to give you cars that I would seriously look into that have great resale value, I would go Volkswagen Phaeton. Very luxurious car, very high maintenance cost, but very luxurious car. And you know, especially for like an Uber, you could do an Uber Black on that. You can make some serious coin with that car, and it's a really nice car for the price. Very understated. If you're a family person, like I said before, you want to go Honda CR-V, Toyota RAV4, any car that has a nameplate that's been out for over, say, 20 years. Honda Accord, Toyota Corolla, Ford Explorer, not the Ford Explorer. Anyway, but you get what I'm trying to say. Just find out what cars hold their value really good. For pickup trucks, look at Toyota Tacomas. Very high price, but they do hold their value very well, and they will get your job done. These are just ideas for side hustling and turning your liability into an asset. Thanks for listening to me, guys, and until next time, live high, live mighty, live righteously. Take it easy. Take it easy. Take it easy.